Hello, welcome to Live Free with Rebecca Bush. This is episode 19. This has been a very odd last few weeks for me. I just got back into town. I had visited family after the eclipse. Actually, I went on a road trip with my parents. We drove through to Phoenix from the Central Texas area. We actually went to Confluence at Sovereignty Ranch, which was really special. But yeah, I'm just settling back into Central Texas and just in time for the podcast today with Bonnie from New Earth Creators. I wanted to invite Bonnie onto the show because I've been familiar with her work for a while. In fact, our paths crossed years ago back at Homespun Wisdom. We had hosted this homeschool ready workshop, and Bonnie had shared then about her New Earth Creators, and I thought it was really cool. And, every year at the Exit and Build Land Summit, we want to make sure as many people can enjoy the 3-day experience as possible in person. And of course, when you have kiddos, they need to be doing something fun and stay engaged as well. So I thought, who better to collaborate with than Bonnie from New Earth Creators? So let's welcome her to the show. Hi, Bonnie.
Hi, Rebecca. Good to see your beautiful face again.
Thank you. You too.
You just get prettier every day. How do you do that?
Oh, la la. Well, I appreciate that. Maybe it was the Phoenix sunshine. Oh, life was so different there in Phoenix. I could just hang out in the sun and chill. It's like, man, living this exit and build homesteading life here in Texas, it has its stressors. So maybe I can attribute that to the glow I have. It's the sunshine glow. But we're here in Central Texas. You're based in Central Texas, right? If you want to introduce yourself and share a little bit about what got you into helping tweens, if you will, kind of explore and doing these programs with New Earth Creators that you facilitate.
Well, there was an awakening that happened for me when I was raising my daughter, and I'm just going to dive right into this story because it really gets into the why very, very well. Well, I've been an entrepreneur. This is my third business. And I was raising my daughter, had her in Waldorf schools. She came out of the womb, I like to say, with a paintbrush in one hand and a violin in the other, just extremely gifted and talented. And because of that, I had her in the Waldorf schools. I had her taking violin lessons and art classes all the time. And then when she got to time to go to college, she decided she was going to go to Michigan State University and not do anything creative and go into like business and accounting and marketing and stuff like that. And her dad and I are like, what? We've raised you with these gifts. We've recognized your gifts and your talents. And so she did. And pretty much every time we would talk while she was at school, it would be, she was like, I don't like my classes. I don't like the campus. I haven't found my people. I'm just miserable. And she was just like practically so depressed. It would like take hours for me to talk her into just going to school in the morning. And at the end of her freshman year, she called and she's like, Mom, I feel so sick and don't know if I'm going to be able to finish my classes. Yeah, I never get through this story without tearing up. And I'm thinking to myself, well, it's just, she's eating bad food at college. She's staying up, burning a candle at both ends or whatever. I says, well, here's what we'll do. I'll pick you up from school and we'll go to this place up in northern Michigan. There's the Sleeping Bear sand dunes and I'll bring all your healthy food and, you'll be fine, but we'll stop at the doctor along the way. Of course, we go to the doctor and she was diagnosed with leukemia. Yeah. So, if you are dialed into Louise Hay at all, like You Can Heal Your Own Life. Do you know that book, Rebecca?
No, I'm not familiar.
Oh, okay. Well, she's got a chart in the back and she's basically like every disease. And if you break out the Latin meaning of the word disease is dis-ease, not at ease. So she's got a chart in the back is that every disease has an emotional counterpart to it. And so what she says about leukemia is a lack of creative flow, a lack of excitement. And so anyway, she immediately, ambulance to the hospital where we spent the next month. I lived right next to her at the University of Michigan Health Center. And during that time, after she'd lost her long, beautiful black hair and she was in the hospital still, I asked her, I said, would you consider, I told her about the book and about how People, when they're not on their sole purpose path, they're unhappy. And so and she's not woo woo, doesn't usually like to hear those types of things. And I says, but I told her what she said about leukemia, and my daughter's eyes got really big. And I said, would you consider transferring colleges and going into the creative field? And, I had asked her a dozen times and the answer was always no, but she decided she would. And so after 6 months of, chemotherapy and, she chose the Western medicine approach. She was 19, so it was her choices. But 6 months of treatment. And then she ended up going to Columbia College in Chicago and studying live and performing arts management. And Rebecca, it was the opposite. It was like every time I called her, it was like, oh my gosh, Mom, I love it here. I'm hanging aerial silks from warehouses. I have found my people. I'm
Yes.
yes, I'm playing violin for this guy's new band and doing backup vocals for another band. And I've got this job in this creative agency doing brand activations for live music festivals. And so she's doing great. And when she was in the hospital, I just decided I'm going to dedicate my life to helping people get on their path, because I think it is, it's not always a life or death situation, but I'm sure many people that have gotten on the wrong hamster wheel, Rebecca. And once you get on that hamster wheel in the matrix and you're going in the wrong direction, it's really tough to get out. So this idea of getting kids, starting to get them on their path when they're 10, it's like, they're in the comfort of their own home, right? They're with their families. They don't have to worry about the pressures of, paying the bills and, paying rent and all that. So that's the ideal time, to start taking that inward journey and not having the influence of, teachers and parents and friends and everybody telling you what you should do, but to start exploring. So, so what we do at New Earth Creators, Rebecca, is we take kids on journeys of self-discovery and entrepreneurism, and we help them find their skills and their dreams and their interests and their passions and cultivate, a soul-aligned business around it. Now, all kids don't end up with a business. Some kids just recognize a career path that would be fitted for them, but the majority of them are coming up with business presentations that are completely aligned with their genius and their purpose and their passion. So,
Yeah, and that's like such a radically different approach. And I'm excited to have you and your, co-facilitator at the Exit and Build Land Summit. I know my step kiddos, Aliana and Bill, are excited to participate.
Yay.
We're going to have a 3-day, packed full of fun activities. But usually you're hosting these, not just a condensed 3-day. It's usually for tweens, right, specifically, and it's a longer program. So for parents, looking for something like this, can you elaborate on the various opportunities? You do summer programs, right? There's different options that New Earth Creators offers. So
yeah, we have
elaborate on that.
Yeah. So we have summer camps, and they're usually 5 days. And the first part of the week is dedicated to this, what we call a genius discovery. And then at the end and then of course we do drumming, and then there's, typically there's nature involved, hiking, and like the one venue that we work with in South Austin at the Whole Life Learning Center, there's goats and chickens in the background. We really believe in this sustainable, holistic approach to learning, that's grounded. So there'll be all sorts of arts and outdoor activities and exercise and movement. We do yoga and meditation every morning. And then the end of the week on Friday, all the kids will give a presentation, a business pitch, kind of like a business startup pitch on a soul aligned business, on what they discovered about themselves. So that's what we do. And then we've got one-on-one coaching programs. If you want a more immersive experience for your children, so we do one-on-one coaching programs. We've also got we're launching in the fall a young entrepreneurs club that will meet in person live in Austin once a month, and then we'll do a virtual entrepreneurial camp once a month as well. And of course we're going to be at your event, which is going to be a new experience for us, Rebecca, that I'm really looking forward to. So we won't, since we're not doing the whole program, we're going to just pull out some of the really juicy pieces for while Mom and Dad are in this gorgeous conference about exit and build strategies and building homes and sustainable communities and all that. We're going to be doing like some really juicy pieces, like sales games, for example. Like the kids will create an art piece. It could be, some type of intentional art or altar art. And then they have to sell it. They have to sell it to the other kids in the camp. And kids absolutely love this. And they have to learn, how to communicate. They have to learn the differentiation about their product and why it's special. It really makes them think, real world, like real life type of skills. And anyway, they could play that all day. So they have to come up with all the answers and objections. So they have to think about in advance, like what would be the objections people would have to buying their rock, for example. So we'll do stuff like that. We're going to do a little bit of self-discovery, definitely some business and connection games. We do connection games all the time. Like one of the things the kids love is every morning, they break out with a buddy and we do buddy greets, and they shake each other's hand. Again, a handshake is very business minded, right? Very independently business minded. So they will greet each other with, and we just do funny stuff like greet your buddy and say, "Oh my gosh, you're so gorgeous." They have to say that back and forth to each other, and they just giggle so much. It's like, so yeah, we're going to do a little bit on what is a soul aligned business. So there'll be some teachings on that. And then of course we're partnering with Kidding Around Yoga and Hooping with Jenna Love, and she's going to be doing hula hooping. She is like the master hula hooper, and she does hula hoop camps in Austin as well. So she's going to be bringing the hula hooping and the yoga, and she's got some mindfulness exercises as well. Yeah, and then there'll be just a lot of fun. The goal is that all the kids have such a blast that they go home to their moms. It's like, I'm having so much fun. They can't wait to get back the next day. So
I love it. Yeah. And I want to thank you also for sharing your personal story and your daughter's story, because I think when painful situations like that happen, beautiful things, although the pain is unmeasurable and undescribable, it's like beautiful things can come from that. And so much growth can come from that. And now to see all these beautiful experiences that you're gifting to, other kiddos, it's really inspiring. So,
thank you for saying that, Rebecca. Yeah. And my daughter agrees too. It was a turning point for her. So it's like she sees the gifts, we both see the gifts in that. And yeah. So thank you for saying that though.
It's like necessity is the mother of invention. Like sometimes these situations that happen that are so drastic are what like the catalyst to push upon a different path. So, and it's really special that you're able to bring these gifts and these experiences to folks. So I want to share screen for folks who haven't seen the Land Summit website. I have it right here. So when you opt in, you just put your email address. Let me see. And it's going to bring you to a page. So obviously there's different options. It kind of defaults to this virtual immersion pass. So for people who can't come in person, obviously you wouldn't be able to opt in for the childcare. But if you are coming in person, you do get the option here to change. And that's where you can click there. And then you're like, but I also have kiddos I'm bringing. And that's when you can opt in for the childcare program. So you can indicate how many kiddos you have. And you're doing this up to 15 years of age, correct?
Yeah, I think up 5 to 15 is what we agreed on, Rebecca. Under 5 would be a different type of a camp. But yeah, we're going to take all kids from ages 5 to 15 and hopefully get the teens and tweens to do maybe some leadership things and step up into some leadership roles and help with the kids. So yeah, we find that these especially the alpha gen kids, they're just really ready to, this idea of like, the sage on the stage, is like being replaced with more like guide by your side. And a lot of these kids are ready to like step into leadership roles. A lot of them already know what they want to do and have businesses and are already generating money. And so they want to help, put them in leadership roles where they can help the other kids as well. So.
Yeah, and last year, Marina, hold on. How do I get both of us to come back? There we go. Okay, Marina, her daughter Allie does this booth, Allie's Magical Plant Creations or something like that. And she just totally crushed her booth and dominated. So there's and then Aliana and Bill had their booth. Bill was selling silver and Aliana was making custom jewelry. So there's definitely already kiddos at the event who were very entrepreneurial minded and kind of have competitiveness. So I think it's going to be really unique. At past, this is the 4th one we've done. So at past Exit and Build Land Summits, we've usually hosted Natureversity or something more primitive nature skills and like, those kinds of activities, how to start a fire and that kind of stuff. So I think this is going to be really cool because it's very useful skill sharing, learning, like you were saying, building those communication skills. And it's also just fun and, getting your body moving and doing the yoga and the hula hooping. I think it's going to be a really good time.
Yeah.
So we're excited to have you.
Thank you. And what we're seeing, what these, Z Gen and Alpha Gen kids really need, Rebecca, is like, just really safe spaces to be authentic. Some of these kids are coming in, really dialed into their gifts in so many different ways. And they need the safe spaces to be authentic. They need a safe space for their souls to actually be seen. And to talk about, maybe even talk about their feelings, both positive and negative, and, and to explore their skills and their passions and their interests and callings, and permission to use their gifts. We've got some of these kids that have a lot of psychic gifts, for example, and I'm seeing that a lot, that these young kids are coming in with a little more supercharged with their intuition than maybe, our generations. So just give them permission to use those gifts. So there's always like consciousness development in our camps. And one of the things you probably are familiar with this, Rebecca, it's the map of consciousness with power versus force. Do you know that book?
No, you're like spilling all this great information out. I need to take notes. I'll watch the replay and read all these books. What's that one about?
Well, that's just like, there's just this scale of consciousness. So it's like, it takes your emotions. So like, okay, so what do you think is the lowest vibrational emotion that you can feel?
Fear.
There's lower than that. I know a lot of people, that's fear is pretty bad, but lower.
Hate, maybe.
Ooh, that's a bad one. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, the lowest is actually shame. And then that's the lowest vibrational frequency emotion. And then, guilt is like right above that. So we teach kids the map of, and then like 1,000 would be enlightenment. Apparently Jesus and Buddha were like at 1,000 or somewhere around there. Yeah. So one of the ways that we teach, connection and communication, and also, inward journey stuff, is like teaching. So anyway, one of the games that we do that the kids really love is, so everybody learns the map of consciousness, and then one child is going to go up on stage and act out a number. So like, I think like neutral is 200, for example. So they say they're going to do shame. So they go up and act it out. And then all of the kids have to guess what the number is. So this helps not only with understanding their own emotions and their selves, but knowing that like you're really not going to be able to be very effective in your business if you're not operating at like 200 or above, right? People want to be around positive people and positive energy. And so they learn that. And it's also they just have a blast trying to guess.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
What is your website? I can pull that up right now so people can see and keep in touch.
Yep. It's newearthcreators.org.
Let's check it out and screen share here. Ooh, that's a pretty website. All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, so let's scroll through. Okay, so it says empower tweens and teens connecting to their purpose. Do you see it on your side too?
I do. You're very good with operating with the technology, Rebecca.
Well, I've done almost 20 episodes now, so it wasn't always that way. I'm finally learning how to use this program. But yeah, I just wanted to share this because it kind of gives everyone an idea of the direction we're headed this year too, with the program for the event. But then also, if they're not able to come in person to the X and Build Land Summit, and if you live in Central Texas, or if you want to visit Central Texas, you can always visit the website newearthcreators.org and see if there's some way in the future for you and your family to sign up for one of the programs, because it's so unique and so different. And I think it's important for entrepreneurship to be exemplified, but also integrated. I remember when I was in school, it was like, okay, you're either going to join the military or go to college. There was no like, you could start your own business. Like that wasn't even a thing.
Yeah. Or you can explore what your heart and soul really want to do. And like, when people really start thinking like, what am I really passionate about? Like, what is what is the thing that I do that has me get lost in time and space in like 5 minutes, or eight
Yeah.
hours seems like 5 minutes, you know? And then what is the dreams that they've had? You know, a lot of people aren't asking the kids these questions. Like, you know, if they could, you know, be a Martin Luther King with just one thing that they would want to change in the world, what would that be? You know, what are the gifts that they came in with? So just like my daughter came in literally playing the violin. The first time she picked up a violin, the teacher said, "Here, pick it up." She's holding this itty bitty violin, play these notes. It was like she played 6 notes like perfectly. So it's like,
Wow.
so yeah, we all have something, and some of them are more apparent than others. But to be looking, if, you know, we believe that like the gifts that you came in with that are special are meant to be used. Like you just didn't get those for no reason. So, you know, how can we put those to work for you, you know, on your path of, I don't like the word career, you know, but on your life
Like your
path,
calling.
your calling. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and to guide
Amen.
the kids away from like conformity too. It's like, so, you know, a lot of kids start seeking, like teens and tweens start seeking validation from outside of themselves, right? From their teachers, from their peers or whatever. So this is another way of them like, going from the inside out rather than from the outside in, you know,
Hmm.
and seeing their value. And really when you get kids, it's a very old um ancient idea of like everybody has their place in the community, you know, like everybody has their purpose in the thing that they're supposed to be doing. There was this other book, Rebecca, that I just loved called Mutant Message Down Under. And it
Mm.
was about this Aboriginal tribe, and they were, doing walkabouts. And the thing that stuck out for me in that book was like everybody had their role in the community. So one was a stone tool maker, the other one, was a healer, the other person worked with building with wood things, and so whenever there was something needed in the community, the person with those gifts and talents and passions and callings would do that thing for the community. So there's really a sense of belonging, I think, and sense of self-worth and self-confidence and like feeling connected to their world. A lot of teens and tweens struggle with feeling connected. They struggle with their confidence, and they struggle with clarity. Like, what am I supposed, especially some of the homeschool kids and the unschool kids, right? They're
Yeah.
like, okay, I've got lots of choices. What direction should I go in with scheduling my day? And if they can get dialed in to the direction that they're going in life, well, that makes what to do, right, so much easier. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's hard. We struggled with that for years. It's definitely a challenge, but there's a time and place, and I think it's good to explore what works best for your family. And even if it's just a 3-day kind of like camp like this, it's always good to get a taste of something unique and different and see what
for
jams for
sure.
you and your fam.
Yeah.
Well, are there any closing thoughts you have, or if there's anyone watching with questions, we'd be happy to take your questions right now. We did have someone comment that it is still sunny in Phoenix, Andrew said. And I do not doubt that. When I was there, it was like 93 degrees. I'm like,
Oh,
woo! So, yeah, thankfully, we've been blessed with some pretty nice weather here in Central Texas, like low 70s. Like, I'll take it. But I don't see any other questions. Any closing thoughts, Bonnie?
yeah. I just want to say that, if each person and every child, every adult, just builds their little corner of the world, the little corner of the new earth. And I love your strategy, Rebecca. You're in John's strategy with this exit and build. It is my strategy too. It's like we got to just get out of the system that's broken and just create what it is that we want. And if everybody just creates their own little corner of the world, what their purpose here that is to do, and also when we nurture the hearts and the souls and the intuitions of our children and give them, a safe space for them to be themselves, um, they will lead the world peacefully and joyfully and abundantly. And just the last thing is that we're not going to arrive at this new earth. It arrives through us. It arrives through our
Yeah.
consciousness. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that was beautifully stated. Beautifully stated. Well, Well, thank you so much, Bonnie, for being on. And I'm going to go ahead and we'll say goodbye to you at this time. I'm going to pull up the screen and show folks how they can sign up for the program. So thank you, Bonnie.
Thank you, Rebecca. My pleasure
It
so
was so
much.
lovely
Uh,
speaking with you. And again, her website is newearthcreators.org. And I just want to tap back into this one, guys, because we've had a lot of folks asking questions regarding the logistics of the Exit and Build Land Summit. We are offering the childcare option for children 5 to 15 years old. And this is through Bonnie's program, New Earth Creators. There's going to be tons of jam-packed fun activities. And so we hope that you'll check out this webpage. I'll just share it one more time here. So this is the website, guys, in case you haven't seen it yet, for the Land Summit. And when you do put your email address in, if you just click get tickets, oh yeah, I guess I have to share it here. So at the top right, there's an orange button that says get tickets. And when you click it, it'll prompt you to put your contact info in. And once you click the secure your spot button, that's when it'll show you the options if you're coming in person, if you need the child care selection, or if you have friends who wanted to come, but they're like, well, I don't have anyone to watch my kids that weekend. Just know that, we've always catered and always will cater to folks who have kiddos, because it's all about it takes a village and really being inclusive and folks of all ages being able to enjoy this event. We do have some exciting new speaker announcements as well. We're excited to have JP Sears joining us, who's an awesome freedom fighter and comedian. I'm sure you are all familiar with his work. Actually, back in the day, I used to sell this natural products, activated charcoal tooth powder. And I was like, we have to get JP Sears to do a funny video for us. And that was like one of my greatest accomplishments, was when we finally got him to do a cool video for us, which was pretty hilarious because he was like doing yoga and his teeth and his mouth was all black. But anyway, that's kind of an offshoot story. But now we've kind of come full circle, because in that time, he used to just poke fun at like spiritual folks and stuff. But now, especially after the pandemic happened, he's really taken a bold stand on protecting our freedoms, protecting our sovereignty. And we're just really honored to have him join us. He fled from California and moved to the Central Texas area. And so he'll be sharing American Pride, which is going to be a fun presentation on Saturday afternoon. On the website, you'll find tons of information about the travel and lodging. We do still have in-person tickets available. And you can just click this button, like I was saying. Let's just test it together so you can see what it looks like. So you put your information in. And then this is where you can select the childcare, because we've had some folks who are kind of confused. So let me just show you here in case you haven't seen it yet. So this is where you can select a la carte. If you do have, it even allows you to say if you have 1 kid, 2 kids, etc. And that'll get them all signed up for the program. Then you just show up Friday morning. The conference starts at 9. Feel free to show up at 8 a.m. We'll make sure the kiddos are all set up for success. This page just has all the bonuses and stuff. These are a few pictures of what it looked like last year. We always have great presentations, farm to table meals. We'll have a concert this year as well, which I'm excited about, on Friday night. And of course, kiddos are welcome to come to that too. And here's where you can select, yes, I want to come in person. You can say, me and my husband are coming, or me and my friend are coming, or whatever, change the quantity. And then if you see down here, it'll allow you to say if you have 1 kid, 2 kids, whatever, it's $30 a kid, which is, I think, a great price for 3 days of childcare. We even cater to if you have dietary restrictions. So you can select here if you're a vegan, a vegetarian, if you're gluten-free, etc. So we've really put a lot of thought into this experience, and we'd like for as many people to join us as possible. This year, we're actually looking through the lens of the eagle and condor prophecy. Our keynote speaker is Joel Salatin. When we told him about the theme this year, he was so excited. He actually was like, oh my God, I've been resonating on this for decades, and I would be thrilled to do a custom presentation for your conference all on this theme. So on day one, we're kind of talking through like, what is the eagle and condor prophecy? Derek Bros will then relate it to the exit and build movement. He created the concept of exit and build and really thinking in terms of the 7 generations to come and avoiding the 2030 great reset agenda. His partner Miriam will be there too, kind of guiding us through in a meditation and through the lens as well of what they're doing in Mexico. They acquired property in Mexico. We're really excited for the speaker lineup. We've got a lot of great speakers. John and I were able to actually visit back in 2018 this autonomous sovereign town called Cheran in Mexico. There's around 18,000 people who live there. We went and toured, and the elders showed us around the community, and they showed us their reforestation efforts. The cartel came through and was like planting all these avocado trees. This is before their revolution in 2011. And they were colluding with the local politicians. And so basically the townspeople and the women especially and the children basically rose up and said, basta ya, enough is enough. Like, we're not going to allow this to happen. And they kicked out the politicians, kicked out the bureaucrats, kicked out the cartel. And it's like a indigenous form of decision making now that's implemented. And they, I think, have really demonstrated in a very cool way how you can, be recognized as an autonomous zone. So we're really excited to have folks from Cheran actually coming in virtually to present and inform people of their story. And it's just such a powerful story. So really, speaking in terms of not only land-based projects, homesteading projects, eco-villages, intentional communities, but even like free private cities and like autonomous zones and like, looking at how we can really build these parallel societies in these alternative human settlements. But I digress. So the speaker lineup is really awesome. Look out for the schedule. We'll be announcing that probably in the next 24 hours. And we're hoping that you can join us in person. If you have kiddos, be sure to sign them up for the New Earth Creators childcare program. They're going to have an absolute blast. And again, this is taking place Friday, May 17th through Sunday, May 19th in Bastrop, Texas. If you do come in person, you are invited as well to join in on the optional farm tours. So on Thursday, May 16th, once you sign up for the event, you're coming in person, you then receive the invitation to sign up for an exclusive farm tour with 3 different farms in Bastrop on Thursday, May 16th. So we'll be going to first at 10 a.m. Bella Vie. We're going to go to Plum Fabulous Food, and then we're going to go to Freedom Farms, and you'll get the address and all the information once you sign up, and lunch will be provided at Plum Fabulous Farm. So you'll see you'll be able to see various size farming operations and how they've kind of set everything up. And in my opinion, I think it's really important to go see these properties firsthand to really get a feel for how they're growing food and self-sufficient and making a living by stewarding the land and going to farmers markets and selling their goods, etc. And then on Monday, we're taking a 2-hour road trip, if you're able to join, to Sovereignty Ranch, which is Molly Englehart's property. We're doing a exclusive screening of Common Ground, which is the sequel to Kiss the Ground, which many of you have probably seen on Netflix, the documentary. But Common Ground isn't really released yet. They're just doing like select screenings. So I actually was able to watch it when we went to Confluence for the eclipse. It was literally the best documentary I've ever seen. It was just so perfectly executed. Like all the information, how it all ties together, industrial agriculture versus regenerative agriculture, all the subsidies, all the perversions, all the just chaos that's happening that's depleting the soil and what we can do about it and take things into our own hands. It was so inspiring, so informative. But we're also doing a farm tour there, and you'll get a catered lunch. So anyway, there's a lot of great opportunities to really see this lifestyle in practice. So I hope that you guys can join us. This is going to be May 16th through May 20th. The conference portion, however, is just the Friday, May 17th, Saturday, May 18th, and Sunday, May 19th, which is what we're streaming virtually as well if you can't come in person. But anyhow, that was a mouthful. Just want to get all the information out there because we've had a lot of folks asking for these details now that we're less than a month away from the event. But really glad that Bonnie was able to join today for, I think it's episode 19. I'm losing track of Live Free with Rebecca Bush. I love highlighting all the great work powerful women are doing in the world. So it was an absolute pleasure having Bonnie on the show today. And with that being said, I will sign off. Thank you all so much for watching. Bye.